showtime.
OnlySlabs.
Hey there, comic friends and fiends. It's Rob. Greywall Comics, we're here together again. Isn't this exciting? Well, it is for me anyways. And let's bring on the man of excitement, the most exciting wall in all of comics. Oh, wait. I was just thinking somebody else. How you doing, Chris?
Oh, wow. Man, the shade. It's got shady in here, man. What's wrong with the wall?
It might not be the most exciting wall.
But hey, man, like,
well, it's great for doing finger
everyone else
puppets.
got the same thing going on. Like, it's just nice. It makes me look like I have a tan, and I don't. So I need the white wall.
But is it really white? I mean, it doesn't look like it's white.
Yeah, no,
it looks
might
like
be eggshell.
It's some sort of off-white color.
I don't know.
Either that or
some
your
name that
white balance
some guy made
for
up
your monitor
it's,
camera.
It's white. It's white.
Well,
anyways, you know who else knows that I'm pale? Comic Man Andy.
Oh, sick burn, sick burn. Is this you attempting to cosplay as Walter White?
Oh, I forgot.
Wow.
What I with Andy.
Cut it out.
He got rocks, man. He got rocks.
Wow. And there we go.
Well, doubles down on it. Good for you, Andy. Doubles down. I like it.
I appreciate you there.
Back again, right?
Back again. Look who's back. Comic Man Andy. There you go. There's his stuff ticking down below. Make sure, and it's also down in the description. Make sure you give him a follow. Lots of great stuff with the Comic Man. But we're going to get into some books here in just a moment. First, want to thank everybody for coming on out once again. Oof, chat is hopping already. We dig that. Remind everyone, as you saw, Comics Curing Cancer next weekend. Whew, I'm loading a lot of stuff off my plate. But this show will still be on next weekend at its same regular time. Man Cave Comics will be on for a special Comics Curing Cancer edition. So we had to call the doc.
Well, I see what you did there. Well done.
Yeah, I don't know that he's a doctor, has anything to do with that, but whatever. Anyways, it's that time of the day before we get started. We have to play Romper Room.
Romper bumper, stomper boo, tell me do. Magic mirror, tell me today, did all of my friends have fun at play?
Well, Las Crucius is here. Hooray! And Wheelchair Superheroes, Kyle, how you doing? Big winner the other week. Let's see, Flo Dameron, how you got some time off from helping carry all DJ stuff around. Gene, thank you for coming out. Good day to you. Good afternoon. Blue Hellion Comics, we see you. Mr. Comics 89, it is slabbing time, that's for sure. Dave Collects, yeah. See, Cat Fan Comics Man's here. Great to see you there. Bleecker Street Comics, thanks for coming out. Comic Book G-Spot, I'll be on his show tonight at like 1 a.m. Eastern, 10 p.m. Western Pacific.
I don't know if I've followed the G-Spot. I'm gonna have to.
Well, sure, give him
I gotta look that up.
You haven't been able to find the G-Spot?
No, I don't have that problem. I'm just saying I don't know if I follow it around.
Fair enough. Well, I'll be on his show tonight. So if you want to see that, check him out. Kenneth Bird, thank you for coming on out for everyone here today.
And subscribe. I'm subscribed to the G-Spot.
There you go. You hit the button.
I don't know why you're laughing, Andy. You gotta
Andy's happy.
You gotta
Andy's
compose
happy
yourself.
you were able
sir.
to hit the button, find the G spot, and hit the button.
I don't know what you're talking about.
James Willie, hello, how are you? See, Comic Man Andy's here. You can see him right down below. He's doing his magic trick of a levitating comb. See, Dave collects. I said, welcome to you. Yes, Gary B, the casual comic guy. Mad Spidey waking up god awfully early in Australia to be here with us. James Willie, Nix, hey yo, how you doing? I don't do it the same way you do, but he's here for the dad jokes. Would you settle for some stepdad jokes?
I can't even look at it.
What are you doing, stepdad?
Wow, that's a whole different show on a different channel. But what are you doing, stepdad? That was on the other hub, which we don't even use that name anymore. Geek Out with Roscoe, how you doing? Immortal Biggie Shack, I thought of you this morning. I saw an exclusive for an Immortal Hulk that was like had the Hulk done up as Hulk Hogan on it.
You have to leave that up there.
Rob,
take that down.
Johnny Five Alive, how you doing? Oh my goodness. And yeah, it looks like that's we got I see a Soul Twice making an appearance. Soul Twice is gonna be coming on during C3 doing some live drawing with us at some point. I gotta sync up with him this weekend, but he's also got a commission he's giving away for C3. Thank you very much, sir. All right, everybody. I think I got everyone. If not, again, I apologize, but it's all about Romper Room. All right. Now that are you guys done playing with the juice here? I feel left out here. Come on.
Hey, Chris.
Andy?
Do you know why 6 was afraid of 7?
No, I'm not. I don't know why.
Anybody in the chat?
789.
No. 7 was a registered sex offender.
Wow. Okay.
I like the DeLorean better, but okay, that's all right. We're warming up. We're warming up, Andy.
Andy, welcome to the show once again. Happy to have you here.
Happy to be back, man. It's been about 6, 7, 8 months.
Well, show actually for some reason is in demand, and and you're a busy man too.
This is true.
I mean, now that con season's back up about and stuff, man's got to get around and.
Yeah, con season. We're actually prepping for Baltimore here in a couple of weeks, so we're excited for that. We're contemplating going to Motor City for tomorrow afternoon. We'll see because we're kind of close to that. But Grand Rapids Comic Con is coming up in December, I think it is. I don't know, but there's also Galaxy Con that we're going to first weekend of December. Ashley Eckstein's going to be there.
Where is Galaxy Con located?
Columbus, Ohio.
Okay. I've been there.
To Columbus or Ohio?
Both.
Oh, they're one and the same.
I actually went to Canton, then I went to Columbus to see Ohio State play against University of Buffalo.
Columbus is Ohio, but Ohio is not Columbus, I guess. Anyways, so you drink. Oh, I didn't realize that you drank that stuff that you put your comb in.
Barbasol or whatever it's called.
Yeah. Does that help
Barbicide, I think.
Does that help it come in nice and?
It's just a completely random circumstance that the comb is blue, the drink is blue, the lights are blue, everything's blue today. Apparently,
you're feeling down.
Not really, but
well, good. Let's pick the people up here.
Chris doesn't hate America. Chris loves America.
It's true. He does.
It's been a hot minute, and the last time I was here, what did I do? I brought way too many books. And what did I do again? I trimmed it down a little bit, but there's still quite a few books sitting here. There's gonna be some repeats. For everybody showing up in the chat, there will definitely be repeats. I got no less than like a handful of messages saying I should just troll everybody and do Saga for the entire show, start to finish.
Well, if you got a lot of books, we should probably just get started getting the books. So everybody, if you don't know what's going to happen here, Andy's going to show us some of the slabs that are special to him from his collection, or maybe the ones that were just easily for him to grab because he didn't want to dig too deep. Whichever, we'll pretend that they're special to him. He's going to talk about them. We'll ask him questions. You guys in the chat, feel free to ask questions and about the books if you want, or about slabbing books or any of that stuff in general. We're happy to answer questions for you, help you to learn from our mistakes and our successes. We'll pause about halfway. Andy will say, hey, I'm about halfway through. We'll do our first giveaway. We got the box of books. We'll do a comment grabber, give away some books, get back into some more slabs. And then again, at the end, we will give away some more books. All right. Having said all that, and gotten our business out of the way, Andy, let's go on a journey.
Yeah. Let's start at the beginning of Comic Bean, Andy. What do you think?
Back in the beginning.
In the beginning. And
when Comic Book Andy was but a wee lad.
Comic Boy Andy.
Comic Boy Andy.
Yes.
Just peach fuzz.
Oh, no. Get me started. One of the first characters that I gravitated towards and read quite a bit was the Punisher, and a lot of Punisher titles. So the creme de la creme of that Punisher collection, just kind of the beginning of it, is already Biggie, our homie Biggie, bringing up the 129 that we were able to score in Baltimore. And this was Baltimore 19. So think 2018, 2019 pricing. And we worked really hard for a year saving up to pick up what we thought was going to be an 8.0. And we were actually able to negotiate our way into an 8.5 at the Baltimore Comic-Con. And this book is really special because Bear Island Comics, who won the Comic Corps all expenses paid trip to Baltimore that year, that was a thing they were doing, a giveaway they were doing. He won that. He was there like a day early, and they had VIP passes. And he was on the floor hunting for 129s and sending me pictures about what was going to be available where and all that other jazz. So as I was driving there, he was kind of pinpointing the map for me.
Nice.
And these were selling pretty good in 19 at Baltimore. So we were able to get this one, I think, on Saturday afternoon. And this is the only copy I've actually been able to score so far. I haven't gone for a lower grade or anything yet, just because of prices went kind of crazy a couple of years later.
Yeah, they seem to be settling a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, an 8.5 there right now. Chris, you want to take a gander? Take a guess?
Okay, 8.5 today, because I know 8.5 like 12 months ago was a different animal.
Correct.
56.
No.
So an 8.5 just sold on 10.9 for $25.32, with the FMV at 2,700 or and a half roughly. So yeah, it's cut. They're coming back down. So I mean, this is the market correction time. They've been coming down from 3,000. That's actually kind of like the low. That last sale has like been the low point for in the past couple years, because they've been selling for about 3 throughout the summer. So
that's crazy. So like double what they were in 18 and 19, and they're still kind of holding even after being down a little bit. So when people said to pay attention to Silver Age keys, and they weren't joking. Now, granted, I could have gone deeper into Silver Age, but I kind of liked where I was at getting into the Punisher stuff there.
Oh, it's a great book. I finally picked up my first copy, although mine is just the Lionsgate.
I still don't have a copy of that, because when they were cheap, I was like, they're plentiful, they're cheap. I'll get one at some point, sometime down the line. And then for some reason, that book took off and went astronomical for a reprint.
Yeah, but it's not now. It's back down. I
need to prioritize getting one of those.
I managed to pick one up. It came actually from, I think I got it in a mystery box, actually, of all things. So I was like super happy because I just wanted something. But yeah, those are. I mean, if you want a 9.8, sure, it's like $350. But I mean, you know,
special book. A lot of Jekyll fans out there.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. I mean, people love that. People love that Clone Saga.
So yeah, I've always said, like, I've enjoyed Spider-Man, the title, and the series and whatnot, but I've always been more of a fan of the tertiary characters and less of Spider-Man himself. So that's kind of why I've never dug deeper into that. But that first appearance of the Punisher is on anybody's get list if they're a fan of the Punisher.
Yeah, cool. Definitely
So
one of the key copper.
Oh, is it copper? I'm sorry.
Or wait a second, that one's
No, it's
that,
silver.
74.
It's copper. You can debate whether 74 is copper or silver. I say it's copper. Or bronze, actually. I'm sorry, bronze.
I just say it's blue chip, and let's move forward.
It's Bronze Age. Okay, yeah, it's a blue chip book.
Why I said silver, I could never remember the dates and the times. But when it comes to the Punisher stuff, one of the first books I ever grabbed off of the shelf as a kid was Punisher War Journal #1.
Oh yes.
Yep, with the Carl Potts story and the Carl Potts and Scott Williams cover. A lot of people remember seeing that on spinner racks back in the day. And this
man.
is a
9-9.
Quiet
you guys
flex.
have seen
Oh, we had that before.
So
yeah, we weren't ready for that. Sorry.
Yeah, it just kind of snuck into
People,
the
that
frame.
was a little premature. It came out so early. I mean, it wasn't.
So War Journal was one of the first books I read, and believe it or not, 10 years ago, more than 10 years ago, people didn't collect 9/9s. They just weren't occurring enough in the populace or in the census. People didn't see them enough to really want to collect them. So there were some of them, and let alone, key issue 9/9s. There were some people kind of grabbing those, but people weren't paying attention to 9/9s. You didn't just find people searching eBay for 9/9s. That's what I started doing. And I found this. It's this rarity. This is one of those cases where rarity doesn't always equate to value, because this was, I think, like $200 or $300 a long time ago. I don't even know what you could put a value on any of these now. This is one of only 3 in the world. And with this paper quality, and you can see there was a big uptick in the census numbers for War Journal #1, where people were trying to get high grade copies, and you get a big run of 9/4s, 9/6s. But that paper quality was not great back then. And to get a 9/9, let alone 3 out of that, there's 3 in the world. This is one. I'll buy the other 2 if I can find them. I will.
I'm sure they'll cost you a little bit more now than.
Well, we've never had one sell in recent times, so nobody can really put or peg kind of like a value on that. I don't even know if I can pull it up fast enough.
Well, you probably figure that a 9/9 is going to be about 5 times the 9/8.
Really, is that kind of a good rule of thumb? I never really thought about that.
4 to 5 times, I would bet, at least.
Interesting. Because now I'm wondering if there are
on a book like that. I mean, not when I sit there and look at like a book like Last Ronin, where there's a ton of 9/9s, right? Where it's special, but an older, rare book like that, I would imagine that it's probably a good place to imagine your, based on what the curve is from a 9/6 to a 9/8.
Yep, 2016 was the last one sold, so 461 for the last one, and that was probably 3 or 4 years after I purchased mine. So yeah, it's still all the original sales from 2005 to 16, and it's only sold 4 times.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's some people. There are people out there that I've heard on the convention scene and in Instagram and group chats where they focus part of their collection on just 9/9s.
Yeah.
So there are people out there looking for just those, whether they're keys or not, or whether they're even part of the fandom that they're into. They look for just 9/9s.
Right, which makes it, and that's exactly it. So you get the Punisher people who are interested in that, as well as you get those people who are hunting down the 9/9s, especially the older 9/9s.
Yeah, and
Awesome.
Speaking of older 9/9s, my favorite cover still to date is Punisher 18 with Kingpin coming through the wall for Frank Castle. It's 18, right? Yes, it is number 18. I always get 18 and 19 mixed up. This is the only one that's ever come back in a 9/9. Not that this is any sort of a key issue that people would be grading heavily. So for this one to come back in 9/9 is kind of shocking. I mean, same paper quality. It's not super great. Not a high number of books being submitted for that.
So get 9/9s on those. Do you usually submit them with 50s or $100 bills in the pages?
I don't know. This was pretty great. I found that on eBay.
Okay.
And
wow.
I don't even. It only sold once, and it was to me. And I don't even know why somebody would put that on eBay. Somebody just didn't want it, and
My favorite Punisher is number 1 of the monthly series back in the late 80s, where he has the bazooka pointed into the bad guy's apartment hanging off the side of the fire escape. I just love that one. I'm like, the balls for Frank to hold the bazooka in Manhattan on the side of a fire escape, knowing that's going to blow him off the side of the building. Great. Obviously, then the Mike Zeck stuff for the limited series, but for the ongoing monthly stuff, number 1, I just love that bazooka cover.
Yep, volume 2. So that's issue 18 out of volume 2. Yep, that's issue 18 out of volume 2. I don't know, I'm drawing a blank for the second, but yeah, that's are you talking the limited? You're not talking the limited series. You're talking past the limited series when they ran into volume 2 with that first Mike, that Klaus cover, I think it was.
Was it close? I think it was. Right, and the guy is like freaking out, looking outside from the window. And
my favorite part was that the characters are wearing bell bottoms in the picture because of the times. I forgot about that. But last 9-9, I swear in the Holy Bible, last 9-9. The die cut Warzone number 1s.
That's impressive. The die cut
were
on a 9-9.
Because they were the heavier cardstock and were die cut. They tended to get a little bit better, a little bit higher in the grades. I think there's almost 15 of these in 9-9.
Well, it's a mixed bag, right? Because it's the die cut, you get the crack because you got the heavier cover, which helps out to get it. But the die cut, as I recall in that cover, there's some spots on it where it's not very wide, and so it's very easy if it ever catches anything for it to bend and get it, and then it creases, and then you're hosed. So.
Yeah, that's very true because the shells all across the cover are embossed, so it's totally 90s. It's die cut and it's embossed and raised.
Just no foil.
That's
and
glorious.
There should have been foil on it, but there's actually a 10.0 of that book floating around somewhere.
Wow. Holy cow.
Now the Punisher logo would have been foil, or the trade dress foil. That would have been 3 for 3 for 90s overkill.
Right.
Now, Andy, which one was your most recent 9-9 then of the ones you just showed? Which one was your most recent acquisition?
The Warzone number 1, I think, was the last one that I picked up, and this one, oh god, when did I even? That's serial. I look at the serial number. It was, oh yeah, it's gonna take me forever. It was probably a decade ago.
Okay.
We'll move on to the next.
Yeah. So one more Punisher book. I know I've got a bunch of other Punisher books that I consider keys that I wanted to bring out, but we wanted to kind of diversify, right? And I'm not a big signature collector, but any Punisher collector, anybody that's really, really in love with Punisher and Jim Lee and other covers, this is a fantastic Jim Lee cover for Punisher Armory number 1. Growing up reading Punisher, I absolutely loved the Armory issues, flipping through, looking at all the gadgets, kind of checking that stuff out. It was almost like a shopping catalog, but you can't buy anything from it. Like, I mean, as a kid,
a lot of Black Ops weaponry there, Andy.
Yeah, is it signed down between his legs? Yeah, okay,
yep.
I see it now.
Yep, right down there. I tried to get it in the rocks where this is actually bronze. It's like a bronze.
Yeah, it's a gold pen. I think they call it gold, but it's even with it doesn't turn out that way.
Yeah, it is gold. Sorry, I couldn't remember what color I used. These were fantastic. Like a kid in 1990, you're always looking through shopping catalogs of cool stuff that you can't buy. Firearms and all that other stuff were in catalogs all the time, and it was really cool to look at all the stuff you couldn't buy. This kind of did the same thing for me. I couldn't buy any of this stuff, but it was really cool to see. And then also, it kind of had a little bit of war journal-esque to it, where they would actually have snippets and blurbs in there about the weapons, or sometimes how they were created or where they came about them. Yeah, there's gonna be Punisher today. But that's just a really good treat. I've got a full reading set of the Armory stuff here, and I just like to dive into that every once in a while and flip through it. Now, completing that run graded in 9.8 is becoming incredibly challenging because the issues like 7, 8, 9, 10 were really low printed.
Now you're gonna bust out for us now the Punisher 2099 number 1.
I wish I had one.
You don't?
Mm-mm.
Oh,
2099 it's one of those books where I've always been really irritated by how expensive it's been, because I feel like it should be way cheaper because of how high the print run was, and I just slept on my laurels and never picked one up.
Really? I think you can pick them. They're not that expensive. Especially
a 9.9?
A 9.9, sure.
Or,
I mean, a 9.0, a 9.8. I mean, 9.8's only like $100 something.
This is not loading very fast. Here we go. Yeah, the last sale of a 9.8 was $67. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and pick one of those up now.
I mean, I mean, it's Spider-Man 2099 and is like an X-Men 2099. The gold are like the two that like sell for money. Punisher 2099 #1 is like a Ravage 2099.
Oh, the reason why I stopped paying attention to it was in 2019 and 2020. It hit like 200 to 300. It had sales high as 300, and now it's way back down. So yeah, now is definitely the time to grab a copy.
I have a 9.8, and then I have another one that's off at grading right now that I had signed by Jimmy Palmiotti. Since he did a little skull remark on it.
Oh, that's cool. Palmiotti's done some great work with the Punisher. And then kind of leaning towards the Punisher side of things, because for anybody that's new to your channel or new to my channel or the YouTube community, why not? Always add into the collection. I was reading Punisher growing up as a kid, and I do kind of believe that Punisher storyline or that Frank Castle storyline alluded to me wanting to join the Marine Corps, and I did. And after I had completed my time in the service, I hunted down some Marine Corps books, or have been. I'm still hunting down some Golden Age Marine Corps stuff that I can't afford yet, that I want to save up and work on. But Semper Fi #1 was really affordable for a long time. And my wife found this CBCS for me for my birthday last year, the year before, in 9.8, and found it for a steal, she said. It's like one of the few CBCS books that I own. This book is actually pretty hard to find in high grade out in the wild. Great, high enough grade to high enough quality or high enough condition to grade in a 9.8. So there are some hitting the census, and maybe some people are kind of holding on to some really high grade stuff in their collection. But every time I run into a raw copy, it's trashed.
That was one of the 2 war stories that I read growing up that Marvel was doing. That one and the Nam was the other one that I read a lot growing up, which was, a precursor before I joined the army. But yeah, those Semper Fi books, they're slowly climbing. To me, that's like late 80s, early 90s blue chip, where a lot of former military people are now picking them up and just holding on to them.
Yep, they didn't really have a lot of collectability, but in the last, I want to say 15 years, as a lot of people have termed out, not really termed out, but gotten out of the service after some of the overseas missions, have started getting into comic book collecting and buying up some of the stuff that they grew up with, like we did. I've got 3 more piles. We're not halfway, but I think we're gonna do the obvious though. And my favorite part about going with the obvious selection moving forward is there's 33 people watching and only 20 thumbs up for you guys. You can hit the thumbs up button for these guys for this fantastic show every week, because the greatest show title and the greatest thumbnail out there. But the only thing greater than your show, Rob, is some fat stacks of Saga.
Boom.
I still don't own a single Saga. I have not read or anything else. Although I will tell you, 2 weeks ago when I was at the LCS, I did briefly glance at the trade paperback up on the wall for the
new you're right, that
just
just dropped last week, and the compendium has been out for a while now. That Saga right there, that particular cover is actually on the back of the compendium.
Yep.
I think that might be one of the best pieces of artwork Fiona Staples has ever created, and I know that a lot of her covers and her interiors are glorious. Like, for everyone that's watching, if you don't know of Fiona Staples, you are missing out. She is a master artist, and that cover right there is glorious. Now, my all-time favorite animal in the comic book makes her debut in this particular issue.
There you go. I don't get why Marvel doesn't use the Hulk advertise more. He's basically one big banner.
Yep.
Oh, come on, man. Just Andy, would you mind reading what's on the right side of that label?
Yes. First appearance of Marco, Alana, Hazel, Prince Robot the Fourth, Special Agent Gale, Vez, the Will, and Lion Cat.
My favorite
Robot
character.
the Fourth.
Yep.
You
got to read it, Rob. You got to read it. So we are already 30 minutes in. Holy moly!
And
But the other reason why this one stands out, particularly in for any saga collector or saga reader, is this is the Diamond Retailers Incentive, the RI book, and this is limited to 500 copies. So getting a hold of this took a lot of planning and a lot of time, and this one was our anniversary present to ourselves 2 years ago. So the wife and I actually decided to sit down and save up and buy that for ourselves as our wedding anniversary gift, because of how important saga is to our family and the storyline. For anybody that hasn't been a part of this story before, have heard of it before, we were told long ago that it would be incredibly difficult to have children, or we might not even ever have children. So we went on a whole plan to do up a new 5-year plan and figure out what we wanted to do. And that took quite some time to figure out. And I wanted to get back into comic books, and my wife wanted to get into some other things. So I went right back to my LCS, my local comic shop that I hadn't been to for a long time, and said, what have I missed? What do I need to get into? And the first thing they put me on was, here's Saga. You need to read Saga. This is absolutely fantastic. This is up there with Invincible and The Walking Dead, everything else. So Chris, what's the first thing that happens on the first 2 pages?
She gives birth.
Yeah, to a child. Which
yes. And it's to me, hearing about it from my better half is that there is it kind of starts off with the whole Romeo and Juliet, the Montagues versus whatever family. You got two people that shouldn't get together because of warring factions, and then they do, and they have a kid. And Andy,
which issue is this one?
It's issue 1.
Okay, it's just a variant cover.
I took that trade paperback and threw it across the room, just really frustrated. And I think it was about 2 weeks after that, maybe 3 weeks after that, we found out we were pregnant.
Nice.
So that was really kind of weird, and just digging into Saga and dealing with that. And then kind of following Alana and Marco through their journey with Hazel while we were having a child too. It was really something special. And that story has really turned into kind of a collection for our family, that whole series. And Chris laughed at me earlier for not having made any progress on collecting issues 3, 4, 5, and 6. I'm still looking for those in 9.8 for affordable prices, and now's probably going to be a good time.
Because I've been looking.
You've been too?
I've been now I know that the normal trade dress issue number 1 first printing goes from anywhere on eBay between $600 to about $1,200, depending on the day, depending on the week, blah blah blah. The book that's behind Andy is big bucks. The book that Andy showed last time, the India convention one, that is humongous dollars. And I never, until I met Andy and then found out about Saga, I had no idea how popular this series is. To me, people that read Saga hold it up high above everything else. Kind of like how I feel about We Live. But yeah, I'm about to do a deep dive into Saga, but I've done a little bit of light reading about Lion Cat. Go ahead, Rob.
So this book, this summer, or from last summer through this summer, the last year, August to August, was selling between in a 9.8 between $3,600 to $4,000. October, just 5 days ago, there's a transaction. It dropped down to $2,760, which is back to your pre-peaks level. So if you want one, go run out. You can go run out and buy it.
Yeah, the book saw a sale as high as $5,000 in 2021.
Wow.
And I think this book, limited to 500 copies, is you're going to see some people get some really good deals, but at the end of the day, that $2,760, I don't think that's going to be a market setting sale because of how
you probably see it come down from the 4,000, but you'd probably see right now selling it for 35 to 38.
I'll just say this: when copies become available for affordable prices, they get snapped up. So affordable is a very varying degree, or the definition of affordable changes for everybody depending on their own situation. And there are, people that have copies available on eBay that are asking 11,000, 10,500. There's not a lot of copies available. Yeah, they're asking. There was one person that put one up for 21,000 at one point, and I don't know if that's just somebody trying to flex, or if people just want to. Here's a copy. Let's talk, because sometimes they do OBOs on that kind of thing.
Yeah, they do, but then you got to still come when you kind of count when someone puts something up for 21,000, and the real price on the selling market price on it is 4, and you got to come in and you know they're going to play the dicker game, so you
Mhm.
got to sit there and come in at 2K. I mean, that's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's really people almost trying to artificially raise the price by having a bunch of people ask way too much.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, for a long time, it was about showing off what people had, and then it's really turned into trying to set markets with prices. I don't think that book's going to sell for 10, 11, 12, 13, 14,
No,
$15,000 like people are
it
asking
it
for.
never has.
I do think the book will see 6 to 7,000 in the next decade or under, in my opinion.
Good.
We'll see when it finishes up in the next few years, because we know it just came back last year. If it finishes the way that the first run finished, yeah, it could just jump,
And
and then the more people
was
get
already
turned
been
on to it,
optioned,
even
right?
more.
No, in fact, Brian K. Vaughan said he would never allow it to be optioned, would not be a part of it. He's actually loosened up a little bit and said that if it ever were to get optioned, he just wouldn't play a part in it. And everybody that's read it has said that it would be extremely expensive to create a show out of that, and it would probably
have to
never
be animated.
Yeah, it'd probably never happen unless it was going to be animated.
Well, there's just so much gratuitous violence and sex in that. It's
yeah,
I don't know if it could be optioned.
Yeah. You have to tone it down tremendously and take all the dongs out of it. I mean, like it's not clean nudity, by any means.
Right? Yeah.
All right.
But again, I think that's a blue chip covers. One of the best covers that Saga has ever released is that one in 500. Yeah, she hit the park. She hit the home run right out of the park.
And that, Mad Spidey, is why you collect what you want.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, and that's something my wife and I saved up for a couple of years for our anniversary present. Because, I mean, this is the real big flex here is that to talk Saga and show off Saga books, I don't even have to pull out the original pieces that I purchased. Right. Those can stay up there forever now. Those are all 9/8, first through fifth printing, and the additional image firsts. And there's the first printing right there.
Or people can just go back and watch your previous appearance.
So what's the normal? Like I said a little while ago in the last little bit, I've looked up Saga #1 in the 9/8, just a first printing. What is the FMV for that right now as it stands? Is it about 650, 700?
90-day average on that book is 548 on GPA.
Wow.
So that's about back down to pre-COVID pricing, because it saw a high sale of 1,200 in 2022, which I don't think is accurate. High sale of 875 in 2021. So I think we're stabilizing. I think we're getting back to normal.
Well, there's one spike of a $1,200 sale way back in 2022, but everything else is much, much lower.
Yeah, I can remember when that was released and passing on it.
Cost you about $500 recently.
Yeah. But raw copies, there are still affordable raw copies out there in high grade to send out to get graded, and that's still people are getting high grade copies for a lot cheaper than what you might think. But one of the things that's been insanely hard to find, as Chris brought up earlier, was the Comic-Con India variant. Now this one's got a pretty good story behind it. So there was a comic convention in India in 2018. I always have to double check the date, where every single person going through the door received a grab bag, much like any other convention where they hand out advertisements, they hand out grab bags and all this other stuff, or vendors hand out stuff. Every person walking into the con front door got a grab bag, including a copy of Saga #1.
That's such a bad idea.
Every 5-year-old, every 6-year-old, every 8-year-old got a copy of this book. And as you can imagine, a country like India is substantially more conservative on their stance with certain images and things of an adult nature with children. So there was lawsuits. There was lawsuits thrown around. This book ended up in garbage bins, and I think there were a bunch of them were burned. There's somebody out of India that's claiming to have a box of these that they're trying to sell on eBay, but I don't know if it's legit, and I don't know that what they're asking is they're asking, I think, like $300 some odd a copy. They're asking for something pretty high for a high amount of risk to buy some and get them out without boards and bags. We found this actually from a U.S. retailer on the West Coast a couple of years ago, and this was the highest grade copy I've been able to find anywhere, and it's the second highest on the census right now. The first highest, I think it was a 9.2.
Okay. So there are no 9.8s that exist at this point.
There's no 9.8s and no 9.6s that exist. I haven't checked recently, so I could be wrong on that. But I think the highest was a 9.2 or a 9.4. That's quite an adventure for a book that should not be read by children at all, by any means.
No, not at all.
And then, speaking of foreign copies, we were able to get our hands on the Turkish editions of. Yep.
Now, Andy, I love that cover. Now, is the Turkish one cheaper than the diamond?
Substantially.
Okay.
So, I don't know if 1,000 were printed or 1,500 were printed. I don't know what the factual print number is on that. I just know that when they got printed, they got sent out. We bought up 2 copies or 2 sets because the cover A was reprinted and the retailer instead was reprinted. So we bought 2 sets, got them all 4 of the books graded. They all came back 9.8. 1 set of 9.8s went to my good friend who works at my LCS, and I traded him some other books for those. So he's an avid Saga reader and collector as well. But I'm wondering now if we're just printing foreign variants because foreign variants are interesting and people are buying them. So being a completionist collector, I feel like I'm kind of getting targeted that maybe there's going to be a German reprint at some point or a reprint somewhere else, and it's just going to kind of keep happening.
So Mark is asking, have you cracked open that diamond to find out it's actually not the Turkish edition?
So the Turkish edition actually has Turkish writing on the front.
Yeah.
And it's substantially, it's a good deal smaller, like 15% smaller. So you can see by the extra space in the slab.
So what I find interesting about this, Andy, while you get the other one ready, is that Turkey, yes, is a part of NATO, but they're a Muslim country. So the last 2 big books that Andy has shown us, the India and the Turkish one, I'm kind of wondering why is Image pushing the saga book over there, knowing that it may not be received very well, because generally speaking, these countries are hyper conservative when it comes to sexuality and women and that kind of thing. But yeah, there's actually a size in the trade dress as well.
Yeah, and I wish I had the numbers on me. But Saga's been reprinted in many, many different languages all across the world now. It's not just a fandom here in this country, in the United States. It's a fandom out across the world.
That's how we do it. That's
where I think that retailer incentive, that 500 copy retailer incentive, is going to be a blue chip modern and will be for the future. But now I'm about at the halfway point. We're 43 minutes in and halfway.
All right.
We'll call it the halfway mark, man.
Fair enough. In that case, let's go to this mode. We'll bring in our boom. What a saga. Hashtag what a saga, gentlemen and ladies. Go ahead and give us our hashtag in there, and we'll go ahead and spin for that. Give away our drawing from here. In the meantime, Andy, anything exciting coming up for you on your channel or next week or so?
We've taken about a 2-month break from YouTube and social media for the most part to kind of refocus. I quit drinking for 2 months, focused heavily on some other projects, and I want to do a little bit more as far as an LLC goes. I have my LLC created. I'm not sure exactly what the full vision of that is in the future, and I'm working on that right now and really focused on kind of cleaning up and organizing the whole collection again. But coming up, we'll be back on YouTube regularly every week, twice a week at a minimum. I'm still doing Silverman's Comics, Comic News Weekly every Tuesday there with him. And we're going to be going to Baltimore. So Baltimore is going to be a really fun vacation. And then post Baltimore is really what I'm going to be looking at, getting back on YouTube weekly at a minimum, awesome. At least Wednesdays, because I love New Comic Book Day.
Andy, you might be the first person I've ever heard say that Baltimore is going to be a good vacation.
Well, it's because of the con.
It's Baltimore Comic Con, man, and the food down there is fantastic.
And I watched The Wire faithfully.
So Now we're talking
Greatest show ever.
We're talking
Greatest show ever
Inner
made.
Harbor.
Yes.
Inner Harbor. Yes, there'll be more whatnot content at some point. That's where we're trying to figure out the business side of things. I don't want to get so far ahead of myself on sales and moving books to try to build the other side of the collection that I can't afford the taxes. So ideally, it's figuring out the tax code changes and figuring out how a small business really works as far as that goes.
Awesome. Chris, how about yourself?
Well, I just dropped my first passion project in a while. That's my
yes,
ASM
you
run.
did.
I'm going to spotlight my ASM collection from issue 1 all the way to 50. I started with the first one, which is 50 through 41. Tomorrow I'll be dropping 2 cool guys swap picks with Mark from Legion of Comics. Next week, early, I'll be dropping another Walmart video where I'll be opening some Walmart packs. And then Wednesday, I'll be going live for New Comic Book Day for an open invitation for anyone to join us if they feel free to show off the books they just recently picked up.
Awesome.
Rob?
Looking forward to it. All right, we got 24 out of 32. We've given you guys some time to hit that What a Saga. Give you guys another 5 or 10 seconds while I'm continuing to talk to get that in there. And remind everybody again, of course, next week, it's going to be all about comics curing cancer, October 21st, 22nd, 23rd, all across YouTube. Make sure you pay attention. We'll be dropping show schedules this week on Instagram, as well as putting out some link trees, which have get you to all those shows and everything else. So, all right, we're going to go ahead and spin it. Wheel of Fish. And our winner is Patow, Mr. Comics 89. Congratulations to you, sir.
I just sent something off to him recently. All right.
Remove that. Move that here. Make this big. Maybe we grab this. All right. Mr. Andy.
Wow, that's a full
You remember
box.
how this is done?
I do.
Excellent. So give me let's pull out 6 books for Mr. Comics 89. Number from the front, back, or we'll do some back to front.
We're going to start with my favorite number of 69.
So 6 and then 9.
Yes.
Oh, for a second there, I thought we were going to be talking about the G spot again.
We got to split them. Oh, no.
Here's number 6.
Which I subscribe to now.
Oh, you now? Okay.
Women have wished you subscribed to it for much longer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. All right.
Hey, Chris.
Andy?
Do you know if trees go to the bathroom?
I don't
They
know.
could if they would.
Oh, dang. I thought that's where number 2 pencils came from.
Oh, wow. Boom!
Okay. Let's go 8.
From the front or the back?
8 from the front. Sorry. I just automatically think he's going to the front because his hand was right there.
2, 3, 4,
Comics 89.
5,
69.
6,
Treat me
7,
good.
8. All right.
Then let's go 15 from the back.
Jesus Christ. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
I swear I never
13,
grow up.
14, 15.
I will never grow up either. Okay, and then number 1 from the front.
Okay, one more.
Number 1 from the back.
All right. All right.
Watch your back.
All right, we'll start with the 69 action, I suppose. All right, first book up. About Spawn, issue number 70. That's an awesome looking cover.
That's a great cover.
Be great if it was glow in the dark.
Or foiled, or embossed.
Just glow in the dark would be great. The Infinity Gauntlet, issue number 4.
Wow.
Come
Iconic cover.
get me.
Iconic cover.
How about some Hulk, number 4?
Yes.
Fighting a zombified Spider-Man and Thor. Spectacular Spider-Man Annual, number 12.
Love that cover.
That shiny UPC code down the bottom left.
You guys zoom in to see Spider-Man, and then look at that, we got a Night Stalker appearance.
Black Cat got her own solo story.
Sorry, yeah. Who is the mysterious villain trying to kill Spidey and the New Warriors? So Spider-Man and the New Warriors. So it's Beckerman approved.
Speedball might be in there.
I'm going to save this one for last because that's the best. All right, how about from Volume 1, Harley Quinn, issue 26.
All right.
Back in the classic outfit. And this one, the final book from this one, Captain Canuck #1.
Yes.
Nice.
Boom.
Chris the Comic Vet approved.
On the now failed Chapter House imprint.
Yep. So here you go. Congratulations,
well
Mr. Comics 89. You will need to reach out to me via IG to get me your address to ship those to. Along with, of course, you're going to get the exclusive OnlySlabs magnet that you can hang on your fridge to remind yourself to watch the show.
2 guys, 1 show.
Yes, that famous slogan is available also on all the OnlySlabs merch, which is available. Thank you for bringing it up, Andy, on fatstacksmerch.com, where you can get that merch. All the proceeds from the merch shop go to Comics Curing Cancer. So if you're getting amped up and ready for Comics Curing Cancer next weekend, you can go get some merch to prep for it, or maybe a mug or a cup to keep yourself hydrated throughout. So Mr. Comics.
I might need a shirt for Baltimore.
There you go. You can get yourself the henchman shirt. Be a henchman, or an OnlySlabs is even better. The jersey's not there, Chris. You can't advertise. This is a Team OnlySlabs exclusive. Unfortunately, it doesn't. It's not available for sale on the site.
So,
all right,
Rob.
I'll find something. The beard is literally so long now, I can't really wear anything with a front logo because it gets blocked. So.
Well, fortunately, a lot of my shirts have only pocket logos on the front and the main logos on the back, including the OnlySlabs shirts. Or some of them, anyways. All right, anyways. Thank you for that segue into that. In the meantime, I'll remind everybody to follow our man, Comic Man Andy, here on Instagram, and check him out on YouTube. Even if he said he's got a hiatus, he did say, tease that he's coming back at least once a week. So that's an easy watch to keep up on. Going forward in the future, as far as the YouTube channel goes, yes, want to do weekly content, comic book related, but I want to do some more content that's about me, not just necessarily about comic books, but I'd like to do one night a week where I'm actually streaming video game content, because I have rediscovered my love again for video games, and in doing so I discovered a title called The Last of Us, and this was a couple of years ago, but The Last of Us came out with a comic book during the game being released, and that comic book was a 4-issue miniseries done by Dark Horse that wasn't printed very heavily and was not treated very well. So high grade copies of this are a little tough to find, and the prices I'll say the asking prices have gone up considerably. I don't remember what the actual sales have been. And then when they shipped out the pandemic edition of the game, if I remember correctly, I can't remember the exact name, but they released a special edition that included the variant. Now, if I remember correctly, somebody in the chat might know, but I think this is the only variant to issue 1. They did 2nd, 3rd, and 4th printings, and then the show is coming up. Burke's right. The show is coming out first quarter of next year. They finished production. They finished filming. They finished all of that stuff. I'm really excited for this, and keep getting distracted by Blue. But I've actually collected. I've gotten several more copies of issue 1 in like 9.4, 9.6. I've got the variant here. We picked up a 9.8 for a couple $100 before things went crazy. And I'm kind of holding on to those because I'm absolutely in love with the game. The series, I think, is going to be a sleeping giant.
Yep.
The print run on the comics are low. High-grade copies are difficult to find at affordable prices, I'll say that. And when the show comes out, there's that many more people out there that are going to discover the rest of that Last of Us universe in the comic books and the video games. And The Last of Us 2 was already one of the best-selling PlayStation games in history now.
Mm-hmm.
And the first game has been re-released, the original release, and then it's been released a total of 2 more times or recreated. So there's 3 releases of the first game alone.
Nice.
Skeleton Key is right. One of the best games ever.
It doesn't sound like a Star Wars game, so I probably wouldn't play it. But
it's good. It's good. Speaking
I
of Star Wars,
I have my narrow focus in life, and
yeah, I'm with aggressively relaxing. I don't know if they're blowing up and the sales are actually happening and the prices going up. I know they're asking for higher prices on eBay and other places, but the people that have them aren't selling them. I will say that. I will say that much. But speaking of Star Wars, definitely got the Star Wars 42.
Oh, yeah.
Decent copy of this.
Yeah, decent, great. Yeah. 9.6, yeah.
This one went crazy for the show, and then the show under-delivered. So if you guys looked up pricing now, I'm thinking that there's going to be good buying opportunities over the next year or two for
probably. It's still the like second big book, right, in that series.
Issue 1, and then issue 3. The first Obi-Wan was going to tick off a little bit before the show.
It did, but it's still
It's
not
cooled down a bit. Yeah.
The Dark Horse stuff is the stuff that's really been kind of more climbing up. But we go with see, that's the we got that one. We go in a 9.6, $500
still.
Sold last month. 9.6 sales. Yeah, well, but that's down. Considering that, April of 2022, it was selling for, or the beginning of this year, it was selling for $1,000 or more.
I think 9.8s are still incredibly high. I think those are still really high.
Yeah, no, a 9.8 actually it's still going up. A 9.8, a couple of 9.8s recently have sold for about 20. Oh no, it's still down. I guess actually long term, it's at 2,500 for a 9.8. But considering that's a 5 times premium on a 9.8 versus a 9.6, that's a big jump.
Oh yeah, and Nick's Kicks and Comics is right. The Last of Us re-released the 4-issue miniseries in the Firefly edition for PS5 remake that just came out. So that's a new one, and people, I don't think any of those have been graded yet. If people are still trying to get their hands on it, because people were buying that up with bots on the PlayStation Network, and it was going for $99, and people were asking $400 or $500 on that for that on eBay, and that's finally trending back down to under $200. So hopefully, I'll grab one of those and try to get those books. But yeah, we're on Star Wars. We've moved on to some Star Wars stuff.
Blue Hellion. Funny enough, you should use that joke if you want over on the Fat Stacks merch. There is an I've Got Issues sweatshirt there. Just saying.
Well done, Rob. Well done.
We've gone over my.
I look for any opportunity I can. Remember, all the benefit. It all benefits Comics Curing Cancer. It doesn't benefit me at all. But
we've gone over the Punisher stuff. We've gone over the Saga stuff. We're into the Star Wars stuff.
That's right.
And 2 of the biggest characters that I believe in Star Wars are Dr. Aphra and Ahsoka. And we've seen Ahsoka appear on screen. Dr. Aphra not yet, but I was really happy when the wife told me to. Wow. She's like I want a copy of the LaRocca 1/25 first appearance of Dr. Aphra. This was actually a Baltimore pickup last year. I gotta look. It was last year. We were
in the middle of the hype, Andy.
In the middle of the hype, yes.
Oh
in the
my goodness.
Middle of the hype, because what was it? Disney Day. What's the Disney Investor Day? That D23 was happening just after Baltimore last year, and we were worried that was going to be one of the last chances we were going to be able to get a book at an affordable rate. We stumbled on this at Baltimore. I wasn't even going to go to Baltimore. Friday afternoon, I'm watching all these people post all this stuff about Baltimore, and I asked the wife, and I said, should I just go? Should I just leave work early and drive the 12-hour drive out there? And she said, well, your bag is packed in case you want to go. So sure enough, I ran home, grabbed my bag, I left. I got there about 3 o'clock in the morning, Saturday morning, 2 o'clock in the morning maybe, and crashed for a few hours, and then went to the con and negotiated this for the wife because she really wanted it. And then I was like, well, it's kind of a team thing for us. And she got her copy. And then literally 6 months later, We found this raw. We found this raw at a small convention in Indiana and picked this up for just a few $100 because I showed the guys like, I don't know, because he got it in on a trade deal. He didn't really have a whole lot into it. He's like, well,
Right.
he's like, this is where I'm at. And I said, this is where I'm at. And I did the old 1-2 walk around the convention for the rest of the day, then went back and hit him with my price and got it. And I'm like, I'll be happy if this comes back in 9.4 or 9.6. And it came back in 9.8 after getting clean and pressed by Gary at Impressive Comic Book Services. So the wife's got her copy and I've got my copy, and we are ready for Afra. I'm right up there with Nemesis Prime JD on the Afra collection. Every time I find a copy that I consider affordable at the time, I'll buy it and grade it, or I'll buy upgraded copies. In fact, now is a really good time to keep an eye on her first appearance, or the Darth Vader 3, the non-variant, and I'm seeing some that are close to sub 300 finishing this weekend on eBay. Keep an eye on those. I mean, if it continues to trend below 300, I'm going to buy every copy I can afford if I can afford it. But yeah, that means
it's blue chip.
We've talked about the character
and
just
the droids.
The character and the droids and stuff are just insane on that, and I love it to death. Although I can't stand the whole third and fourth printing pricing, but I came across something recently where somebody was talking about that somebody has a case or two of that variant that they stumbled across in their shop. Supposedly,
I wouldn't be surprised. I think the printing numbers for the first printing were around 115, 117, 120,000. I could be remembering that completely wrong. In fact, I want to look that up today. So the 1 in 25 isn't super overprinted, but it's not also extremely underprinted.
Yeah, no, at a 1 in 25, it's not going to be because that first Dr. Afra, I mean, you went into 4 different printings, for God's sake. So.
Yep. And then the ratio variance based off the print numbers for number 1, or for the first printing.
Right.
The second, third, and fourth. The fourth print is the one that's limited, that people are asking thousands of dollars for.
Which is ridiculous. Again, I'll say it again. It's your consolation prize for missing out on the first print. It's not a more expensive variant.
But that's like the second print. Anybody that's trying to dip their toes into Afra collecting, look for that red second print. That one you can usually find for a couple $100 in 9.8. That one, for some reason, people don't attach much value to.
It's the cheapest of them because it's a second print, whereas the other ones all of a sudden they go, oh well, the third and fourth print, look how rare they are. Well, I have a second print that's signed by Adi Granoff in a 9.8.
Nice. And the second print was printed less than the first print, so you would think that it might have a little more value or similar value, but
people are weird. The speculators.
Yeah. I think I've got
it's your damn consolation prize, your participation ribbon. That's all they are, folks.
I'll keep buying the first print all day long. The second print I've got 1. The third print I've got 1. The fourth print I had a 9.6, but I sold that to try to move up to a 9.8, and it just went skyrocketing in asking prices, so I didn't go that far.
We will touch on it just before we leave this topic, though, just so we're clear, folks. This 1 in 25 variant, because you're wondering, right now it's running between $1,600 to $1,800 is what it seems to be running all summer long, and continue to hold around that rate. So.
And it still seems to do pretty well, even when it cools off a little bit.
Yeah, it had a peak, looks like recently in 2020, earlier on, 2,300. So really, it's not, compared to some of the dips that some books have taken, it hasn't really done that. It's really still kind of holding in that realm. So that tells you that people really do still anticipate something at some point with this character to show up.
Yeah, they can't not do Afra. What's one of the phrases somebody said in the community not too long ago is the executives are all laughing at us because at the end of the day, all the characters are coming at some point.
Right.
Especially if you're watching Andor and you get to see some of the little Easter eggs and how cool it is with the artifacts and the antiquities that are kind of popping up in Andor. It's just literally like,
that's you know what I mean?
He's coming.
It's coming. Just a tease. And there's some speculation, or not some
although she's later. Not too much later, though. in
Yeah, no,
reality, because she's.
it's 5 BBY, so she'd be a kid at this point.
Oh
Like,
no, well, maybe a
or
teenager.
would she be teenage? There's
Teenager.
JD and I and a couple other people have talked about the possibility of her showing up in the second season, because there's supposed to be time jumps between seasons to some degree. We don't know how long that's going to be yet, but at the end of the day, I'm a firm believer that Afra will be showing up, because how can you not have Afra?
She could be at the university actually right now, 5 BBY, because when we first introduced to her, we're post blowing up just after the Battle of Yavin. When we first get introduced to her, so she could be at university right now.
Yeah, I always get the timetables or the timelines really confused. It's hard to figure out that chunk of Star Wars for me. But
they do kind of just mumble it together, and at the end of the day, you kind of go, well,
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm really excited, because if they do Afra, then they have to do 000 and BT1, the two murder droids that come with her.
Oh
and
my
she does
god!
There's some fantastic storytelling with Afra and Vader that they could do on screen. I would hope that they would. Some really cool stuff. If they want to explore more of Star Wars away from what we know now, this is a good way of doing it. Having Afra, either an Afra standalone series or a series that Afra plays heavily in.
Yeah, no, and did you see most recently when they showed up, when they re-showed back up in the recent series, and they were wearing the straw hats and like like overalls, like they've just been out farming or something. Oh my god, so good. All right, 100 killer droids.
You can't talk. You can't talk hot Star Wars characters without talking about Ahsoka. So, Clone Wars 1.
Oh boy.
This was another one of those. It's time to crap and get off the pot and get our copy a few years ago before she shows up back on screen.
Legal disclaimer: when he's talking hot, he's talking about market price hot. He's not describing her as sexually hot, because he understands that she's a teenager. So, to be clear, Comic Man Andy is talking about the book is moving up and selling very well. Go ahead, Comic Man Andy.
True. I didn't know that we needed to have that distinction.
Just want to be clear. Because there's a lot of weird stuff out there that people come up with, and oh my god, you hear Comic Man? He's got a thing for this,
right? I get it. So, Ahsoka is Ahsoka going to be on screen? Rosario Dawson, everything that was going on with that.
Now she's hot.
Yes. Very cool to meet in person too. I wish I had the cojones to crack that and have her sign it. We actually saw her at C2E2 and got this signed, this metal print from the Chalk Girl.
Nice.
Wow.
This was an original print done by the Chalk Girl, done in chalk, and she reprinted these, and Rosario signed it for us right there. Super cool human to meet. Very fun time at C2E2 with that. But the Clone Wars 1 is another really big modern book that you can't just forget about.
No.
And I would buy another copy. In fact, we are trying to find another copy that's not graded and high grade that we can have Ashley Eckstein sign in early December. So we're trying to keep an eye on that, because if prices continue to ease up or relax a little bit.
Crack that one. Come on.
I mean, I still don't even know if there's going to be a CGC witness there at that convention. But for anybody trying to get into Ahsoka collecting that isn't quite ready to drop the coin on a number 1, number 2 is overlooked all too often. I mean, this is still a book that you can get for, well, it was around $100 raw book and super high grade at most of this year's conventions. So keep an eye on this to either stay that or go sub 100 on most people's wall of books at conventions. Don't overlook this. Don't overlook this at all, because this one and issues 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 all seem to command a decent value when they come back graded in 9.8.
Now, does her first Marvel appearance have value?
It has some,
Okay.
not as much. It's also kind of one of these weird things when you get into first Marvel appearances. She's got a first cover appearance is Star Wars 30.
That variant?
Yeah, which is but it does not appear on the inside. And then first cameo appearance is in Mace Windu or Jedi. Yeah, Mace Windu, Jedi of the Republic issue 5. And then first Our next cameo appearance in Darth Vader 14. She doesn't really show up. I don't think it was a full blown appearance. It's just briefly things in visions here and there in the Darth Vader series, and then so.
I'm pulling it up really quick. I'm trying to remember because she shows up in Dream.
She's in Dream Darth Vader 25.
Is that Darth Vader 25?
As an adult, yeah. That's
Okay.
the one. That's when they're on he's on Volcano Planet, whatever. And that's when we find out that Darth Sidious made Anakin, or by manipulating the midichlorians.
Yeah, and she's got a couple of Star Wars Insider. There's some other places she shows up, but
she really hasn't been in the Marvel stuff yet. As a first full appearance, unless probably is in some of the like she must be in some of Star Wars Adventures, or maybe that's all IDW stuff.
Yeah. So Star Wars 30 was the first cover appearance that variant.
Oh yeah, first full appearance. Star Wars Forces of Destiny, Ahsoka and Padme #1. There you go.
Yeah, that's one I still haven't found.
There's only 12,000 copies ordered by retailer, according to Key Collector.
Yeah, it's Ahsoka's only going to get bigger. I mean, Rosario's in it for the long haul to play Ahsoka. So any of these early appearances or early printings of the Clone Wars books are just going to keep going up, in my opinion. I don't know that they're going to skyrocket, but I think they'll hold value and continue to gain value over time.
Yep.
And then to round it out, I mean, we're already well over an hour, but yeah, I'm a believer in Miles. Yes. I'm definitely a collector and a believer in Miles. So second print and a couple of first prints, always holding on to those. I know that book went nuclear I think it went nuclear, and that's what a lot of people were talking about, is how much it's come down in the last couple months.
Really?
Well, what's FMV on the UF4 right now than the 9.8?
Looking it up
right now, because it's going to be quite. We picked up our copy from a really good friend years ago for like $300.
That's about what I paid for mine.
And just talked about holding on to it for the long haul and about
the regular first print, standard, everything else. Yeah, it is down somewhat. It's all, but it's looks like FMV's list about 1,400.
Still
last sale
2280.
That can't be right. This source I'm looking at's got a last sale that's like on a 9.8, like $300, and that is definitely must be a raw book.
No, that's gotta be like
2,200, 21, 20, 20, 24, 22, 20, 22, 23. So yeah, still right around $2,000 is about right.
Yeah. So Miles has now passed Harley, basically. Then,
well, let's see. So Batman Adventures 12 in a 9.8. Batman.
I think that's still worth
Adventures.
more.
Yeah, I think it is. I think it's still around 2,800. Let's see here. Batman Adventures 12. Scroll down. Oh yeah. No, FMV's listed at 2,900 on it, with sales are 28, 3,000, 3,000, 3,000. Yeah. It's a
okay.
It's still a
so
bigger book.
So she's still in the lead on Miles.
Yeah,
for now.
And she's got a lot more reprints out too. Even though Fallout 4 has a lot, because it seems like every con season there's 2 or 3 variants that come out. And this year alone there was like 4 variants that were released on reprints for con season.
So GPA has Ultimate Fallout 4 90-day average at 2367. Last sale of 2280 on October. Oh, load.
Wow.
October 10th was the last sale of 2280. It saw a high of almost $4,500, $4,499 in 2022, a high of $3,840 in 2021, and a high of $1,420 in 2020. So it was a $200 to $300 book for a long time in 9.8, and then started creeping up in 18, 19, and then took off in 20 and 2021. The funny thing is we look at a lot of these books and people talk about how much books are dropping and how far they're dropping. When you overall look at like a 5-year span, yeah, books might be going down, but they're still like 20, 30, 40% higher than they were 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago.
Before the bubble began, right?
So even post bubble, things are settling into prices that are still substantially higher than they were 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah, and they're I would say that they're fair given in these particular cases, Harley and Miles Morales stuff, given how significant those individual characters are. But and when you take into account though the number of books that are out there compared to some older key books, Silver Age and Bronze Age keys of the same kind of character significance, they're still really kind of overpriced in reality. Because if you're going to tell me that a Harley Quinn is any more significant, is more significant than Punisher, I don't.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to see some values and how they outpace other values, and it's just the things don't always add up. And I don't know if it's because of the fandom or because of rarity or
right now. It's fandom and where everybody else is looking and the spotlight is. That's why the key to collecting is to find out where the spotlight's not.
Skate where the puck isn't going to be.
If you're interested in trying to find maximizing value and everything else, if you don't, well, then buy what you want and who cares?
Well, see, that's the funny thing we talk about too when it comes to collecting comic books is a lot of people will use the term speculation, or they'll hear the term speculation and then they'll ultimately or right off the bat think there's like this negative connotation that comes with that name. The reality of it is any of us that are out there buying comic books and we're trying to do it as affordably as we can and build our collection and build our value, that's a form of speculation. Yes. Doesn't necessarily mean that we're selling our collection or we're selling our books off. You don't have to speculate. You don't have to sell to be a speculator, and you don't have to speculate to be a seller.
I just don't want to overpay as a collector.
Exactly. That's where I started and where I grew up in comic book collecting for the last 20 plus years. I didn't want to overpay for the books, especially when it came to grading and CGC was first in its infancy. Now I'm really finding myself shifting into that part of collecting where I'm out of space for storage. My needs and wants as a collector have shifted a little bit. So there's portions of my collection that I'm ready to let go of. How do I do it responsibly, and how do I do it without costing myself?
Donated it all to C3.
There's donations. There's that big event that's going on. We still donate to Mission 22 regularly. The mission for 2022 is still Mission 22 on our channel. Is everything my channel makes gets donated to Mission 22, all the ad revenue and everything. So that's still a thing. We still do auctions, making donations to Mission 22 for the hammer price. But at the end of the day, it's like we as collectors, as we continue to morph and change and get older, aren't always into the same things we were 20, 30, 40 years ago. Like there's Transformer stuff that I have that I'm not really interested in the comic books. I want to sell those to buy one of those original OG metal Transformer models, the whole 5-piece or 6-piece set, and have that. So like that's where I want to turn that comic book collection kind of into some other things. And at the end of the day, that's what I brought to the table. We're already at an hour and 18 minutes. I'm here.
This guy, he's tracking time like he's the producer going, cut him off.
I still produce Brian's show, so I'm still always kind of looking at that clock. And
my show just kind of goes. No,
there you go.
But we're glad that you were able to come on again today, Andy.
Well, I appreciate it. I'm happy that after 6 months, it's still not a continuous repeat of books that I did last time. The collection has changed enough to have some fresh books in there for anybody that saw the first episode.
Fair enough. All right, let us go ahead and bring in Comics Curing Cancer. Again, the big event next weekend. Please, guys, make sure you clear your calendar. Look at that. Clear your calendar next weekend as Comics Curing Cancer takes over your YouTube October 21st through the 23rd. Get this, that hashtag Comics Curing Cancer, and we will give away our next set of books from the pool box. Well, we're at it. Let's see here. Let's remind everybody also, you can help out Comics Curing Cancer by visiting the merch store, fatstacksmerch.com. Anything on there, all proceeds go to Comics Curing Cancer. Also, don't forget the Rogue Trader. If you're interested in checking somebody out to have some books pressed, the Rogue Trader, you can go to his website, roguetraderutah.com. You use the code FATSTACKS and get 20% off your pressing, including already discounted bundles. And every time that code is used, $10 will be donated to the Comics Curing Cancer campaign. All right, next week on the show, we'll have Man Cave Comics back. We'll be obviously be doing a lot of C3 stuff. I'll still have Monday. We will have our Comics Curing Cancer mail call, where mail call will be some books in there that are going to be available on the Comics Curing Cancer auction and giveaway wheel. And then Thursday, I think there's another Comics Curing Cancer tie-in unboxings for my Monday and Thursday unboxings. So there you go. Somewhere during, and guys, next week, you'll see we're going to do we have our OnlySlabs regular time. We've Man Cave during the C3 stuff. And then right after, there's another live event. So you can hit notification for that C3. It's going to be kind of a hangout slab discussion. If you got questions about slabs, you want to talk about all that fun stuff. But along with it also, I've got 5 submissions that have come back from CBCS from like October, November, and December of last year. They've broken free. While we're hanging out, I'll be unboxing 5 submissions. Everything from some Golden Age stuff, including, I know that my Golden Age Buck Rogers is finally back in the boxes. There's some OA art that's been graded. There's signed books. There's recent modern books. The good mix of everything, including my very first batch of books that I've ever sent in, where I sent them in and said I didn't have them pressed, and I just sent them in 9/8 pre-screen. So I'll be interested to see how well did I do pulling books out for a 9/8 pre-screen with no pressing whatsoever.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Rolling the dice.
I've never done that before. I've never sent a book in without having it pressed first. So it'll be interesting. All right. Let's see. Going back to front causes. Well, but I'm in a committed relationship with this short box comic journey, so it's okay. There you are. Although it does give it up to anybody who wins.
To front.
All right. We got 23 out of 34. Wow. Okay. Comics Curing Cancer. Some people must really like cancer and they don't want to spell that out, maybe. But I'll give you another 10 seconds or so to get that in there. Remember, books ship US and Canada. Internationally, we'll talk and we'll work something out. 5,
Let's go.
4, 3, 2, 1, and we're spinning.
Wheel of Fish.
Popsicles. Spatula City. Legion of Comics.
No.
Oh, Chris, the pressure is on you again.
Oh,
all right. Let's see here.
Getting books from Mark is harder than finding that G spot. All right, let's go. I'm in it. Let's go.
You're in it to win it.
Let's do this. All right. I hope there's some DC books. All right. We're going to go with Andy's favorite number, 69. 6 from the front, 9 from the back. No pressure. Literally, he just said, don't do me.
Give Mark only back to front.
9 from the back.
Right. Is that 2 weeks in a row Mark's pulled off the second pull? Yeah. All right.
Dude, all I know is I cannot wait for the short braised beef rib grilled cheese sandwich in Baltimore.
All right.
Mark just celebrated his 1,500 subscriber giveaway. So how about number 1 in the back? And
number 1 in the back.
Number 1 in the back and 5 from the front.
That was unexpected.
Got to change it up a little bit. And since I promised Comic Journey I wouldn't go back to front, we'll go front to back. Now. And both of those books there, Rob, that your finger splits, and that should be 6.
Some fatties in there.
All right. Now watch your back.
Ugh.
Okay.
Who likes a fatty?
All right. No problem.
Got my attention.
I don't know, right?
All right. Let's go DC. Let's go Hulk.
All right. Here's what you got them. First book up.
John James.
X-Men 22.
Oh, that's all right. That's all right. That looks like a Silvestri cover. All right.
You'd be wrong.
No.
Andy Hubert and Mark Pennington.
Whoa. Chris does not have a bad reputation. Mark is just one of those
Just very
guys that
picky,
has a very narrow, narrow hallway of things that he
The
likes.
Avengers
like
with
that.
the Absorbing Man.
Yes. Look at Vision coming through there.
The Amazing Spider-Man Fear Itself featuring the Man-Thing.
Very cool.
Amazing Spider-Man 800.
All right. I
Red
know he likes
Goblin.
Alex Ross.
No.
There's not a DC book in there.
Not a
is there?
DC book.
Gotham by Gaslight.
All right. Now that might be a square. Is that the thick book you were talking about? I think that's a square.
This is
bound.
one of
Yes,
them.
it
Yep.
is. Yeah. Okay.
This one and that ASM 800 was a thick book.
That was that's early or late
And
80s,
then
I believe that was.
we have Justice League Incarnate, issue 3 out of 5. This is signed by Dennis Culver, and it is the first appearance of Nimrod Squad from Earth 41 and first appearance of Spore, Earth 41.
Now, I know he has
Spawn.
a book, but I'm pretty sure he doesn't have it signed. All right.
So yeah.
Boom.
Congratulations to you there, Mr. Legion of Comics. All right, guys. Wow, we come again to the end of another show. Thank you all so much for coming on and joining us. Again, want to remind everybody, next week, Comics Curing Cancer, October 21st through the 23rd, here on YouTube. If you're not going to be around, but you still want to donate, go down over to the Communities tab here on my channel, and you'll find a link there that you can go to the ACS Events website for this event, and you can donate directly. We really appreciate it. Of course, this year everything is direct through the ACS, so it's your payment goes directly to them. There's no third party pulling anything out, which is going to be great. Andy, you want to take a moment to plug your charity?
Yeah, that's Mission 22. The mission for 2022 is Mission 22. So every cent of ad revenue that our channel makes, or my channel makes, will be donated. We've already done the first half of the year. That donation was, I think, $400 or $500 we donated. So that was the carryover ad revenue from last year into this year. And we saved all of it to donate to Mission 22. So that means the last half leading up into December or through December, sometime in January, we'll make that final donation to Mission 22 of the ad revenue that we've made. And we will continue to look for opportunities to auction off books on any site or any app or any area and donate those proceeds to Mission 22 for the final hammer price. And we'll work to provide more free swag giveaways from Mission 22 and till Valhalla. Whenever we go to conventions, if you guys hear we're going to a convention, look for me. There's going to be something that we're going to be giving away. And we're hoping to, once Baltimore's done and over with and we've recouped a little bit, we're going to get back to that regular schedule on YouTube and Instagram and TikTok and pretty much everything else. The idea would be able to sit down, click go on multiple devices, it'd be live on multiple apps and avenues doing this the content that I enjoy and that everybody else enjoys with comic books and video games.
Awesome. All right, thank you guys all for coming out. Again, next week, Man Cave Comics. Until next time, collect what you want. Don't listen to anyone, including myself. Just a fat man with a fat stack of comics and a fat opinion. Thanks for watching all.
Cheers.